It's midday right here in Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics. I'm Jeffrey Uzama, bringing you up to speed with the big happenings in politics and in the polity. Let's begin with the headlines. Department of State Services asks court to restrain Professor of Political Economy, Prof Tommy, from comments and rallies in relation to his shadow cabinet. Cites pending suits and possible threat to public order. Suspended Governor of Rivers State Siminalayi Fubara visits President Bola Tinubu at his residence in Lagos, generating public commentary on the move. And a Rivers community in shock following accidental air raid suspected to be carried out by the Nigerian Air Force, who mistaken the agrarian community for oil bunkering sites. Let's get the show off the ground from what's playing out at the courts, where the Federal High Court Abuja has been urged to restrain Professor of Political Economy, Prof Tommy, from further making public comments or engaging in rallies in relation to the subject of suit pending against him over his announcement of plan to establish a shadow government in the country. The request is contained in a fresh application filed before the court on Wednesday by the Department of State Services following reports that Professor Tommy, who is reportedly currently abroad, has planned protests, road shows and media interviews, as well as related activities upon his return to the country on June the 6th. The grounds for the application, according to the DSS legal team, led by Akinlolu Akinde, the senior advocate of Nigeria, amongst other things, includes that if not restrained, Tommy's proposed rallies, road shows, and actions will constitute a serious threat to public order, safety, and national unity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The DSS added that since it is statutorily empowered to safeguard the internal security of the country and prevent any threats to lawful authority of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and its constituent institution, it was its responsibility to forestall any threat to the public order, safety, and national unity. Recall that Professor Tommy had initiated what he termed a shadow government to critically examine government policies and highlight options as part of measures to hold the government accountable, a move that had generated controversy in the polity, leading to this current suit by the DSS. An interesting development there. Now, Public Accounts Committee of the House of Representatives has revealed that according to the Auditor General's reports, that over 250 billion naira in public expenditure remain unaccounted for. The chairman of the committee, Bamidele Salam, said this while briefing journalists at the National Assembly. The committee also listed high incidence of unauthorized payments, growing numbers of audit queries each fiscal year, and the reported cases of more than 60% of MDAs persistently failing to comply with the financial regulations as trends which continue to erode public trust, undermine sustainable national development, and weaken democratic institutions.
And the judiciary have, at various points in time, had to have interventions on issues coming out of mismanagement of public resources. It is our belief, because when you have a country as large and as diverse as Nigeria, you have to put some things in place to ensure that you don't allow people to commit infractions and get away with it because of the span of time it takes to track most of this expenditure. There are quite a lot of gaps. But like I've said, we should also realize that there are movements towards closing those gaps. And one of the movements towards closing the gaps is in the area of reform. So when you close some of those gaps, you also achieve a certain degree of reducing, the propensity of people to, do all manner of things untoward with public resources. And we are looking forward to more of such reforms by government, and we're sure that this kind of a conference will bring up a number of issues that will translate into greater reforms by the executive and greater legislative action by the Parliament.
And away from that, the suspended governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, yesterday visited the president, Bola Tinubu, at his residence in Lagos. The visit comes less than a week after Fubara said he has set aside pride and personal interest to restore peace in the state. However, the details of the meeting between the president and Mr. Fubara were not immediately known. Mr. Fubara had said he is reconciling with his predecessor, Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, whom he calls his Oga. And for those who are not Nigerians, it means his boss. Now, it was a quiet morning for workers at the oil mill in Bunu, Rivers State, until the skies thundered with sound of rotor blades, bringing its destruction. The community is still reeling from that trauma of the airstrike that tore through the farmlands and livelihood. Residents of the quiet settlement in Tai local government area of Rivers State say the area was mistaken for an illegal oil refining site, leading to destruction, injuries, and a growing call for justice.
Charred rooftops, twisted drums, bullet holes in corrugated sheets. For residents of this rural Ogoni settlement, what should have been another day of processing palm oil became a scene of terror and confusion.
It's not something of 100. It's not 100.
They say a military aircraft believed to be from the Nigerian Air Force mistakenly bombed an oil mill, thinking it was an illegal crude oil refining camp.
Obviously, they knew where they were going to. They knew the area. They did their geography very well to determine that they were going to Bunu Tai. But unfortunately, where they struck was a place where the people work for their daily bread. So that will go to prove that they didn't do their logistics very well. They didn't do their GIS information very well to be able to decide that, is that really the place we're going?
And for those who witnessed it, it was like a war zone. Panic, confusion, screams, and a rush for safety.
People took to their heels when we suddenly saw a plane that came and started shooting. In fact, what happened was just like during the war days, when planes were coming, bombing, and running away. But it's not wrong. It just stay at a place, continue shooting for a period of about 30 minutes. Went back, came again, started the same thing, went back, came back, just like that. So everybody took to their heels, ran. Those in the farm were shouting. Well, several people were wounded.
We are trying to find this way.
Our crew visited the oil mill, and what we found was evidence of distress: punctured roofs, drums riddled with shrapnel, and stories that cut deep. A woman breaks down as she tells us her two sons haven't been seen since the raid.
I'm looking for my two sons. I didn't see my two sons.
Where are your two sons work before?
We are in the farm. I carried them from school, so we are here working. The next thing we are here, they started to shoot. So I didn't see my two sons. I'm looking for them.
Category of bullets or categories of sound we heard here in my life. I've not heard. I thought it was a civil war.
In the midst of the rubble, the chairman of the Community Development Committee confirms the painful truth that the Air Force has apologized, saying it was an error.
As a community, we have tried to let government know our position. Although last week Friday, the group commander of Air Force came to the hospital to meet my wife and apologize that it was an error, that they were misinformed, meaning that the whole scenario should not be left unchecked.
For the people of Bunu, it's not just about damaged roofs or lost produce. It's about justice, accountability, and the hope that such mistakes never happen again. Charles Oporum, Channels Television News.
We do hope such mistakes don't happen again. We've had these incidents in parts of the country before now, and we're still expecting the comment or the statement from the headquarters of the Nigerian Air Force, so give us some level of understanding of how this happened. as far as their own position is concerned. But from River States, let's talk about what's playing out in Niger State. The death toll from the devastating flood that has struck Mokwa local government area of Niger State has now risen to more than 200 persons. And following the recovery of additional bodies in recent days, this figure was confirmed in a statement issued by the Acting Director General of the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Ibrahim Hussaini. Mr. Hussaini says 5 more bodies have been recovered as part of the latest search and rescue operations. Correspondent Emperor Simon, who visited the affected communities, reports on the impact of the disaster.
Well, thank you very much, and welcome to Mokwa local government area, where I am at the moment. Channels Television has been monitoring the situation in Mokwa, where flash flood has ravaged the communities. At least more than 4 communities were affected by this flash flood, killing, according to the government, over 160 people, and then displacing over 3,000 people at the moment. Now, members of this community are still searching, hoping to come across their family members that have been trapped in, under the ground. Now, you won't believe that this place where I am standing used to be a house. Today, it has become a pool of water. And we are not just talking about the numbers or the figures. We're talking about the impact of this flood on the livelihood of the people who are now starving and have no, quality health care, at the moment. The state and federal government have been trying, but these people say there is so much that they need to stay alive at this time. I have a member of the community, Nuruddin Mohammed, who earlier told me he lost several people. Nuruddin, it's really sad that you have to go through this difficult time. I spoke with you earlier and you told me, your family has lost several people. Could you please tell me the number of the people that your family has lost and how you're coping at the moment?
My family is like I said earlier, one of my uncle cousin here, Ilya Isu, who lost about 14 people, including him. So the family now, we don't have anybody that we can say this one of my cousins here. And several people lost a lot. The numbers of our accounts, the number of losses we'll have here is over 200. And some are yet to recover. But the number of the ones we buried are over 130. And some, the ones that even yet to be recovered are much than the one we buried. And what I request from the federal government and the state government, please, we need a shelter. My people here doesn't have where to stay. The major camp they said is not even enough for us. The camp is not enough for us. We don't have feeding. That is one. We don't have feeding. We have been suffering from neighborhood to neighborhood. And the indigenous are not even ready to help us here. So we are pleading with the federal government and the state government, please, to intervene, and even in an individual who can help, please, to help us on any things that we can use, like houses where to stay and what to use, feed ourselves. Some of us lost our businesses here. A lot of us lost our business. We don't have anywhere to go to start our business, start off. So please, we need federal government to do that for us, please.
All right, thank you very much. We have also received information that the Vice President is going to be visiting Mokwa local government area, and perhaps that could send a signal to the people that they are not left alone by the government. So we will be expecting the Vice President, hopefully, to come to Mokwa from Mokwa in Niger State. Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
Oh, quite a heartbreaking story and a heartbreaking scene. Our correspondent Emperor Simon reporting live from the scene of that devastating flood in Niger State in Mokwa. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with more stories and conversation. Join us again. Welcome back. Let's tell you that the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission has asked electoral officers to stay clear of all electoral malpractices or face the risk of going to jail. The statement, coming from the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission in the state, Justice Bola Okikiolu-Igile, made this comment at the retreat organized for electoral officers and assistant electoral officers in Ikeja, Lagos. She encouraged them to remember their oath of neutrality and allegiance because the election will be keenly monitored by local and foreign observers.
As part of efforts to ensure an H-free local government election in Lagos State come July 12, officials of the State Independent Electoral Commission converge on Dover Conference Hall, Ikeja, for a 3-day retreat, specifically for electoral and assistant electoral officers, designed to sharpen their preparedness for the demanding tasks ahead.
Election crisis, you cannot control it completely. You won't even know where it's going to come from. And the most dangerous thing about election crisis, it is inevitable, which is it must happen.
Capacity building is top priority for LASIEG. The electoral officers are advised not to take the training exercise for granted and also be prepared to train the ad hoc staff.
Bearing in mind that the EOs, having been properly trained, are designed or expected to pass such knowledge gained for the benefit of over 50,000 ad hoc staff being presently recruited by LASIEG and who are to man over 13,000 polling units in various capacities.
All issues that may hinder the progress of the electoral exercise is being addressed by the Commission with the support of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and the Chairman House Committee on LASIEG asks the electoral officers to remain focused on the assigned duty.
What I want you to realize is that you are the soldiers that are going into the battlefield. You are the main focus of the day. You represent the Commission. Whatever happens on the day of election, the whole process, the whole procedure, whether good or bad, it is on you. So it is a sense of duty and responsibility for you to ensure that the whole process of this election runs smoothly.
The chairman of LASIEG asked all to display professionalism while carrying out their duties.
Remember your oath of neutrality and allegiance, which you have all sworn to, in accordance with Section 19 of the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission Amendment Law. You do the right thing and much more than what you expect. We come from you, we come to you, not only from us, but also from God.
The Commission assures of fairness during the local government election, but emphasizes that anyone found guilty of election malpractice is liable to 2 years in prison.
People around, even stakeholders, even the parties and people who are coming to vote, they understand fairness. The Commission itself is prepared to make sure that everything is fair.
You know, there was even the introduction of what I refer to as integrity oath, where they take an oath to ensure that, you know, there's no mishappenings, they're not being biased, and anybody who is found wanted will definitely face the law. If I'm not mistaken, you're liable to 2 years imprisonment or a fine of 2 million naira.
Residents have been asked to fully participate in the upcoming local government election and elect their choice of candidate who will develop their localities.
A monster is now aggrieved youths in Apa local government area of Benue State have appealed to Governor Isaac Delia to seek the withdrawal of military troops from their communities following alleged failure to respond to distress calls during the attack on communities in the area. The APC youth leader in Apa, Mr. Ahmed Saidu, made a call when a delegation from the state government, led by the Chief of Staff to Governor Alia, visited the affected communities. 12 persons were killed in Apa and another 11 killed in West local government area of the state.
The once bubbling Naka town, the headquarters of Gwawa's local government, is deserted by residents for fear of renewed attacks. They are camped at the LGEA Pramasco, where police and vigilante have been providing security. A delegation from the Benue state government arrives to the community to assess the situation.
They have taken over Naka Makudi Road. We demand for 4 points to be properly manned by armed security personnel at Atingla, at Teabwa, at Yolaha, and at Imande on Makudi Naka Access Road, where these banditry attacks do come. Even yesterday, that was the axis they came through.
Whoever has perpetrated this evil act must be arrested. And we have given marching order to all the security agents in Naka that they must be arrested. And we are here to make sure that they must be arrested. We are leaving enough logistics. We are leaving enough personnel. We are taking cognizance of all the areas that His Royal Highness has mentioned and other interests we got. We are moving around.
The team then moves to affected communities in Apa local government area. They are greeted by the same situation, deserted communities.
The police in the Atodugu and the soldiers, we call on them. None of them were able to come because of the kind of gun. Those people were well fortified. We lost almost 10 people, and the other people, some of them are in hospital up to now.
We are not happy because of the attacks. This is not the first time, this is not the second time. We have been experiencing this kind of attack since the beginning of this year and even last year. But we thank God today, from the assurance the governor have given to us, that he will make sure all the villagers will come back to their communities. But we also appeal to His Excellency to please help us, because the presence of the military in Apa local government is not helping us.
Responding to the attacks, the Chief of Staff to Governor Hyacinth Alia, who is leading the delegation, calls for calm, assuring the people that the state government is working to ensure the safety of their lives and properties.
It is quite disturbing to see the level of damage that has been done in these communities. We appeal to the communities to be patient, to also show some understanding that the state government is begun very serious steps towards ensuring that peace returns to these communities.
The police in the state have deployed measures to arrest the perpetrators.
And that's it on the program. Thanks for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey Uzanga.